Good evening. I'm Sam Hosford here with sophomore criminal justice major and a member of the ESU baseball team, Brandon Hollop. Welcome, Brandon.
Hey, Sam. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Let me ask you this first question. What landed you here at East Stroudsburg University?
I'd probably say baseball, honestly. But with the criminal justice program here, I just thought that it was a good fit for me.
And there wasn't any other aspects about the school, say like the campus-wise or anything that really drew you? It was just baseball?
Yeah, just baseball.
Okay, so being a criminal justice major, how do you feel like the major in the class is preparing you for the future?
The classes I'm taking now are kind of just teaching me about the laws and all the courts and all that stuff that's been going on, and it's just teaching me about like what my future is going to be.
So, what do you feel like is the most interesting part of the criminal justice major for you personally?
Just from my uncle telling me some stories about stuff that's going on since he's a cop, and just learning from the stuff that my teachers have been saying about what goes on in the world about all that criminal justice.
And how did you get interested in the criminal justice field?
Like I said, my uncle's a detective right now, and he was in the military, and now he's a detective. So he's been always telling me about these stories, so it kind of got me hooked on it.
So basically, he showed you the ropes when you were a little bit younger and got you the most interested in it of anyone else in your life for that one.
Yeah.
And what do you plan on doing with your degree when you graduate in 2016?
I plan on being a cop, but the farthest thing I wanted to be was a detective.
And what does that detective field inquire? Like, what would you have to do for that?
Honestly, I don't really know too much about like what I need since I haven't met with my advisor yet and to talk about any of that stuff. But I don't really know too much into that. So
what would be like if you were to be a detective? What do you think would be like the coolest aspect that you know of?
Just learning, because my uncle tells me about some of the stuff that he's gone through, like he's seen some murder scenes and stuff like that. So I mean, that kind of interests me. So.
Okay, and what do you feel like the best outcome for you when you come out of college? Like, do you have a career, like, dream job or, like, any family plans or where you would love to live when you get out of college?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Hopefully baseball will take me farther than college baseball. Hopefully take me to the next step. And I kind of plan on living somewhere down south to get away from this cold, so.
And do you have any, like, specific areas in, like, the baseball field that you would like to go to, like minor league, major league?
Yeah, coming out of college baseball, you would probably normally get drafted into independent ball or in the minors. So hopefully that will lead me up into maybe make it to the majors someday.
And is there any specific team that you would have always dreamt about playing for?
Oh, definitely the Yankees.
Yankees. And being a baseball player here at East Stroudsburg, how do you feel like managing such a demanding sport and schoolwork play out?
Honestly, it's kind of tough for me because I'm not one to be known for having a good work ethic with school because I never really studied that much. But coming into school, I feel like having baseball and all my classes, it's kind of like a strict schedule with time management. So you just got to figure it out from there.
And how was your biggest adjustment from freshman year to sophomore year in college, having to make that management and make that change?
Definitely just working harder and setting your mind to your goals that you want. That's about it.
And does baseball keep you on a pretty strict schedule for that?
Definitely.
And how do you feel like you balanced coming from high school practices and high school games to college practices and college games?
My high school practices were pretty tough, so I mean it kind of balances out when I come here. I feel like it's kind of we work on the same exact stuff, and I feel like high school really prepared me for all that.
And what do you feel like the hardest adjustment individually for you was when you first came into here regarding school or baseball?
Just making my a better work ethic. I wasn't as a hard worker as I should have been. Looking back now, but definitely realizing that makes me want to work harder.
Now, I know you also played basketball in high school. How did you figure out that when you came into East Stroudsburg, that you decided that you just wanted to play baseball?
A lot of people just said that I could definitely make a career out of baseball, so I kind of just went with that. No matter how hard I've given up basketball was, I just got to think of the future.
Okay, and for your baseball team-wise, how do you feel the team accepted you as you came in as a starting freshman?
Pretty good, because I just felt like when the first time we met, the whole team, we were in the room together and we all just meshed. We all hang out every day, like 24/7. We're always together, no matter what. So I felt like they were very accepting, and all the seniors. And
do you feel that your team connects well on and off the field?
Yeah, I think so. Everybody's always together. A lot of the baseball players live with each other, so it's always a clique. Everybody's always together. So.
Now, let me go back to the school aspect of this. As a criminal justice major, how do you think that coming into the real-world situation will work out for you? Do you think that you'll have some struggles at first or even find it hard to find a job?
Yeah, I think finding a job will be a struggle, honestly, with the police department. That there's always tough times with that, even talking to my uncle about all that stuff. So, I mean, I just have to set my mind to it, and I'll hopefully pick the right place to find the right police department to get a job.
And now, you said you wanted to possibly move somewhere down south when you got out of college. Is that where you would like to pursue a career as well?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely like to move down warmer weather, probably somewhere in North Carolina or Georgia.
And another school aspect question. It's just that coming in from your freshman year to your sophomore year, how do you think that you advanced in making that work ethic count? Like, did you start studying more? Did baseball hold study halls? Like, how do you think that you really got yourself on track with that?
Just looking at my past freshman year, I didn't really do so well in my classes how I should have been, and for baseball, same thing. I could have done a lot better. So I just looked back at that and knew I didn't want to fall into that same slump as I did last year. So I had to pick it up and pick up my work ethic. Okay.
And as a Division II athlete, how do you think that your coaches play into that to keep not only you but your whole team on track for getting that correct GPA and making you guys work hard even on and off the field?
A lot, because we have study hall hours during the fall, so we're always in there. All the freshmen and transfers are always in there studying. And even for guys who need extra help, coach is always on top of it, telling you to get tutors. He's always on your back about your quizzes, tests, and everything. So he's always asking about your test grades.
So you really think that the coaches do put a big impact on you guys when it comes to keeping you in line?
Yes, correct.
And when you first came in as a freshman, coming back to last year, do you think that you were ready for the adjustment of becoming a Division II athlete and be like a collegiate athlete?
I think so. I think my work ethic was all right coming into D2 baseball. So.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever. So take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. I'm Sam Hosford with my guest, sophomore baseball player Brandon Hollop.
Hi, Sam.
Before the break, we started to talk about baseball a little bit more. Now, let me ask you this. Let's skip back to last year where you had a decent amount of playing time as a freshman. Your team ended up winning the PSAC championship, the first one since 1971. Let me put that one out. Can you describe how that felt when you guys won that?
Just being there as a freshman and winning that was awesome. I mean, I can't really explain the feeling of just going into that as my first year, and I was like, wow, like we just won the PSAC, and we haven't won that in over 40 years. So that was a huge part of what I was like to be a part of. It was huge.
And what do you think like the most underlying aspects of your team for that year were? Like, what do you think the best, strongest areas of your team was to make you guys win that?
I would definitely say our team captains. There was a lot of good team chemistry, and those guys like to keep our guys in line, and no one really complained too much because our captains kept everyone in line.
Okay, so how did it feel to be able to actually contribute to that PSAC champion title? You got on the field a little bit last year. You were able to pitch some games. So how does it feel to be able to actually be on the field and contribute to the rest of your team for that?
It felt pretty good because I knew coming as a freshman I just needed to know my role and just keep working hard, and hopefully I'll just get to something better. And, I mean, just being a part of that, like winning some games and contributing was a big deal.
Okay, so you do feel like as a freshman, did you think that when you first got out on the field, any nerves kicked in or anything like that?
I mean, I wouldn't say nerves. I had a little butterflies before I went in there, but that's just excitement, just getting ready to pitch my first collegiate game, so that's just about it.
And you think that your teammates were very supportive of you for that when you first came in? I know sometimes it's hard when you're a freshman and sometimes you step on a little bit of upperclassmen's toes when you do stuff like that. But as a freshman, you did prove your role. So do you feel like there was anyone that you could give some credit that like helped you along the way?
Yeah, I'd definitely say probably Brian Ernst. He was our senior captain last year on the team, And I felt like he was one of my biggest role models. I kind of just took after his role and just fell under his wing. He just kind of helped me out through my pitching and everything.
So what was your hardest, you probably had some difficulties coming in as a freshman and trying to overcome the new coaching styles and stuff like that. What do you think the hardest aspect of it was for you in order to get your head straight into a brand new team?
The biggest thing was I was a big starter in high school, and coming into college, I was a role guy, and I just had to change it from being a starter pitching 7 innings to being a relief guy pitching maybe 3 or 4 innings. And the guys were always cheering me up and stuff like that. So it wasn't too bad.
All right. So what's an average practice look for you this year?
An average practice?
Yeah, or an average week, because I know pitchers have some off days, right?
Practice usually cut a little short, longer. The hitters usually hit right after we do our defense. We do a defense with the infielders together, and then we break off probably about an hour and a half into practice, and the pitchers do their core and all their workout stuff while the hitters hit, and then we just leave right after that.
So what do you think was there any big difference from last year's practice as a freshman now that you're stepping up into a bigger role as a sophomore? Do you think there's any difference between what you did last year compared to what you're doing this year?
Yeah, definitely. Just working harder and just getting guys on the same schedule, make sure no one's lazy on the team, no one's slack, and just everybody keep up the hard work.
And what do you think helps you the most to focus for games when you do have them and you are pitching in them?
What do you mean?
Do you have any spiritual things you do or any pregame rituals?
Pregame, I don't really have too many pregame rituals. I just usually do same stretches, same workout, listen to the same songs on my iPod every time before I go on the pitch. So that's just about it.
And coming from such a high-ranked high school and getting big honors there, you had Shore Conference Player of the Year when you were in high school, which was an awesome honor for the New Jersey area. How do you think you managed to adjust to, like you said before, having to be that role player and just not used to the starting position?
You just basically got to wait your time. Coach is always saying you just got to wait your time, and when it is your time, you just got to capitalize, and good things will happen. So, I felt like last year I didn't really capitalize on the things that I should have, and I could have been a lot better, but I realize that now, and now I feel like I'm exceeding. So
do you think you did anything special over the summer, over the winter, that really got you prepared for this season?
Yeah, I worked with a new pitching coach, and he helped me with my form a lot. So I feel like that changed and helped me bump my velocity up with my fastball, and I felt like working with him made me work a lot harder.
And do you think that there was anyone in high school that really pushed you to play at the college level and helped you a lot with that?
Yeah, I'd probably say a lot of my friends I've been playing with my whole life, and I'll say my pitching coach in high school, Coach Gold. I felt like he was always there for me, and he was always telling me that I'm going to make it. I just have to keep on working hard. And
did you find it hard to pick East Stroudsburg to come to for baseball in general?
No, I don't think so. I felt like the team's always – I had a couple kids come to this school before I came here, and I always talked to them. They just said it was a pretty good school, and baseball's been on the rise, the record doing a lot better. So I was like, all right, I'll just come here. Pretty good baseball team.
You didn't have any contending schools that you were really looking at?
I did, but I kind of felt like East Stroudsburg was a perfect fit for me.
And the baseball program here, obviously you guys won the PSAC championship last year. So do you think there's anything this year that you guys do need to improve on in order to, obviously last year you guys were a great team, but is there anything that you thought coming from last year to this year that you guys should be improving on that you didn't do last year?
This year I would just probably, because since we lost a couple guys last year, a couple key leaders, I feel like we just need some guys. We have some guys now stepping up and being that leader. So we just need everybody to stay and know their roles and just focus on the goal.
Okay, so just yesterday you actually earned PSAC Pitcher of the Week. So you got 2 complete game victories. So can you tell me how it felt to actually receive that award?
I felt like that's very awarding to me because I wasn't expecting that coming into the season. I wasn't doing too well, and then I kind of just bumped it up, and I just needed to focus more on my pitching, and I went in there and started pitching very well. And then after receiving that award, I was like, finally, but I can't settle for that. I just need to keep on getting more.
So the 2 games that you had 2 complete victories in, can you describe those a little bit to me?
Against Westchester, I just knew I had to go in there and battle. And I knew that Westchester was a very good team. And I just knew I had to keep pitching, hit my spots and everything. So that's just about it.
Okay. And playing a sport at the Division II level is very difficult, obviously. But do you ever find yourself running out of time to do everything you want to?
Yeah, I do, honestly. I wish I could go fishing more, honestly, and I wish I could focus on my schoolwork more. But I'm always either at practice or working out or something like that, so I'm usually tired after them. I don't really have too much time for other stuff, so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Brandon, and I wish you the best of luck with the rest of the season. I'm Sam Hosford, and now back to the BBC.